Hello ladies and gents, Bushman here and welcome back to my channel, and something a bit new today, and that is the all new survival MMO Myth of Empires made by Chinese developers Angular Games. Now, since learning about this title, I've been very skeptical and still remain somewhat skeptical as a consumer on the intentions of a Chinese MMO coming to the West, as we've seen it so many times before with Chinese and Korean made games. They generate some hype, get everyone interested, and we learn later down the road that it turns into a pay to win model. Not only was I worried about pay to win, but just the game in general, but so far, ladies and gents, it's good news and they've proved me very, very wrong. I was pleasantly surprised after launching the game to see a beautiful game world in front of me, great performance from the start, and after looking through the UI and the menus, an extremely detailed, complex progression system with many elements involved. You will notice the UI and menu design is quite basic at the moment, which will be getting improved later on, but what's in said menus is quite the latter. All that being said, ladies and gents, let's not beat about the bush and jump straight into the video. So first things first, let's have an in-depth look at the skill menu and talent trees. As you can see there are 5 main skill paths, and within them skill paths are 5 subcategories of skills that have individual talent trees. Whenever you do an activity in the game, whether that be using a specific type of armor or weapon, gathering or crafting, and taming horses or NPCs, you will start to level up in this skill tree. You also have proficiency points which you can assign to a certain task or weapon to level this up faster. You can assign a total of 5 proficiency points per skill, which gives a 12% XP boost to that skill, and as your character levels up, you gain more proficiency points to assign to different skills. In the closed alpha test, you could remove proficiency points and put them in the tasks you were doing at the time, such as putting 5 points into attacking with a polearm, then remove the points and put 5 points into woodcutting, for example. It's unclear if this feature will remain this way or this was just to allow you to try everything for the test server. Next, we have the tech tree menu where you can learn different items to craft, such as weapons and armor, siege weapons, crafting stations, and so on. You will gain points as you level your character. Now we have the guild menu, which shows you your guild level, contribution points for you and each member in that guild, and special ability bonuses your guild leader can apply, which will affect all members, such as a boost to polearm proficiency, riding proficiency, armor proficiency, and so forth. At present, it makes 0 sense to play this game solo because of this feature, as the perks gained from being in a guild will give you a huge advantage over anyone not in a guild, and this particular part of the game needs severely balancing if they wish to allow for solo or small guild gameplay. That being said, ladies and gents, this game is more suited to large-scale guilds and warfare at present, but even if you're looking for small-scale content, you're still better being part of a large guild just for the buffs alone. Moving on to the next menu is your quest menu, where you'll find your current guide mission, daily and weekly quests, which can be completed for huge contribution points for your guild. Next is the subordinate menu, which shows your NPCs you have tamed. During the test, you can have a total of 5 NPCs which can be assigned to work on your crafting stations for better quality items. They can be assigned to your farm or stables, or simply turned into warriors that will protect your buildings or you, and it's a very similar system to Conan Exiles. Next, in your adventure tree, aka the advent calendar, you will find treasure maps located around the world, and they'll give you extremely difficult quests to complete, and these treasure maps are more suited to a group of players. Once you have completed the treasure maps, you start to unlock special buffs via this menu. I'd not completed any of these at the point of recording, so I'm unsure what abilities are hidden behind the advent calendar. Next is an achievement progress menu, which will hopefully be integrated into Steam at some point. Next menu then is the county battlefield menu. There's a huge city located on the map with a whole city of hostile NPCs with siege weapons. And if a guild wants to capture the map, they must first fight and capture the city. Anytime I tried to get close for some recording of this city, I was met with a rain of catapult boulders, so I used some footage here from the trailer. After the guild has captured the city, they and they alone will be able to enter, and the NPCs will respawn as neutral. Your guild will have to defend at regular intervals throughout the day, which is currently 3 hours, to keep control of the map. The final menu then is based off renown points, which slowly increases as you level up, and yes, you can unlock even more stat buffs. It seems in this game you can literally become a god amongst mere mortals if you're willing to invest the time, but that leaves one question in my mind, and that is, where is the balance? We will have to wait and see, but let's move on to some gameplay footage and what to expect when you start playing. So you will spawn into the game world naked with nothing unlocked, as is typical of survival MMOs, and you will start to gather sticks and stones to make your first tools. A point to note is that you will start off in a PvE world where you can toggle PvP on and off, and here you will remain until at least level 20. Levels 1 to 20 does not feel rushed, and the game does an excellent job of walking you through the basics. Hunger becomes a problem very fast in the game, so you'll need to make it a priority to kill an animal and cook some meat on the campfire. To the unseasoned survival MMO gamer, the wildlife AI at first glance will seem extremely difficult, but once you get used to the mechanics, they become pretty easy to take down to harvest meat and leather. Another noteworthy point is that the game currently uses directional combat, and there is 8 directions in total. The left click is used to choose your direction and block, and releasing the left click will release an attack. I personally am not a huge fan of the melee combat in this game, but due to everything else in the game being very fun and promising for an alpha version, it was easy to overlook the clunky melee combat. The developers have already acknowledged that a lot of the EU players didn't like the melee combat, so let's hope that they improve on that before early access. Now you have some food in your stomach, a basic set of armor and weapons, it's time to get some transport. You will need to learn and craft some fodder, a set of reins and a saddle to be able to tame a horse. Once you've crafted these items, put the fodder and reins on your action bar and equip. Throw the fodder to distract the horse and sneak up behind, then jump on its back, which will start a minigame. You will need to fight against the horse using the A and D keys, trying to keep it in a straight line. If you fail to fight against it, the horse will become enraged and start another minigame where you'll have to mash the left and right mouse button to stay on its back. Failing that, you will be kicked off and will have to start again. The horse riding, cavalry combat, breeding and upkeep is honestly one of the game's strongest points, but cavalry is extremely overpowered, especially in the PvP skirmish mode, which is a battleground you can join, shown here. It would be nice to eventually see cavalry limited in these game modes to 1 or 2 horses per team, or even just a melee only mode in the future. Now that you've learned the basics, it's time to start building a base to store your items. You will start off with a wood base on the PvE servers, but you want to progress to clay for the PvP servers. Once you've made a base, you can start filling it with crafting stations and assign some NPCs you've tamed to start leveling them up. Build the stables for your horses and plant some wheat crops to keep them fed. I didn't do much in terms of building, but here's some footage of the fortress some of the guys from Full Control built on the PvP server, which I thought was very impressive, and it was attacked by Russian and Chinese clans. I didn't record much PvP on the server due to time constraints during the test period, but the footage you can see in the background is for Benji Manitor's video, so please click the link in the description to see the full PvP video in its entirety.
Left, like the fucking thing is on the left, no?
Come on, fight this. Don't push too much outside,
What fight? My weapon has disappeared. Oh, the thing is coming. Here, no?
Another horse down.
One on the side.
Go to the water, YPM. Yeah.
So, in summary, ladies and gents, Myth of Empires is a very promising upcoming survival MMO, and they seem to have ticked all the boxes and thought of everything. We have instance dungeons and battlegrounds, a huge open world to build bases and settlements, a PvE realm and a PvP realm which you can easily switch to back and forth and transfer items to and from. The PvE realm is almost the recovery realm for the PvP server, so if you do find yourself a bit down on your luck, you can always go back and recover on the PvE realm. There's a lower resource yield on the PvE servers, which makes perfect sense as higher risk gives you higher reward on the PvP server after level 20. Cavalry and siege gameplay looks great, a very intricate talent and crafting tree to work your way through. We've got treasure maps, quests, and last but not least, great frame rates and performance, even next to huge structures and a lot of players. The only thing that is really lacking in my opinion is a player driven economy system, and the melee combat system needs some work. I think 8 directions is too much, and I would prefer blocking to be on the right mouse button rather than using the left mouse button for both blocking and attacking. I also think the balance between armor types and weapon types needs some attention, along with the stat buffs gained from being in a guild. I would like to see in the future a skilled new player being able to enter the game and still be able to challenge someone who has grinded through their skill levels and is wearing the best armor and weapons, as not everyone's got a massive amount of time to invest in grinding out these skill levels, and at max level just being able to one-shot everything is not going to be very enjoyable. Please let me know in the comments on what you think of the game so far and what changes you'd like to see going forward. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe, as it really helps me grow the channel. And if you want to join a growing gaming community, please join my Discord server, link in description. Thanks for watching, ladies and gents, and I'll see you on the next one.